Texas Tech has done historic things in the transfer portal cycle, including landing 11 blue chip players. In today's video, we're going to specifically talk about the defensive line and how this could be the greatest defensive line unit that the Red Raiders have ever had. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in to all the videos. I know we're shifting from basketball to football, but when the Red Raiders are cooking in the portal both ways, you know we're going to have to talk about it. So if you want 100% free content, whether it's on the gridiron, the hardwood, or in the portal for both programs, this is the place for you. Almost 12,000 Red Raiders strong here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. And the best part about it, it's 100% free. All you got to do to join is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. All right, as I mentioned, let's just strictly talk about the defensive line, because for those that don't know, you can go back on the channel and get instant reaction to Texas Tech landing arguably the best edge in this portal cycle in David Bailey, the Stanford transfer. He had other teams going after him, including the likes of Texas, UCLA. But what do we say here on the channel, Red Raider Nation? Texas Tech don't speak broke, okay? And they definitely didn't hear as they landed David Bailey. Really what I want to do, though, is I want to look at the current projected depth chart for Texas Tech. And when I say projected depth chart, I mean mine, okay? So you can see it on your screen right now. By the way, this is the kind of content y'all are getting over on the Scarlet and Black Insider. If y'all want to hop on over there, it takes me a little while to make these videos, but sometimes, you know, hey, I just post my thoughts over there first instead. Updated Texas Tech defensive line depth chart, again, in my opinion, okay? Edge, we're going to call them both. I know that I think it's listed as a defensive end on one side, edge on the other. For this exercise's purposes, we will call them both edges on both sides, okay? You've got the aforementioned David Bailey starting on one side, backed up by Charles Esters the second, Ameir Washington, and then Joesph Adedire. Joesph Adedire would have been higher, but remember, he's coming off of a injury, and really we don't know too much about that in terms of the standpoint of where his health is at. Obviously, Lee Hunter is going to be your starting nose tackle, not a debate. Then you've got Dooda Banks, Jayden Cofield. I mean, Jayden Cofield is a guy that I was excited to be, you know, a starting nose tackle for Texas Tech this year, and now he may be the third line of defense there. That tells you how deep they are at that position. Then you shift on over to DT, and you land the guy in Anthony Holmes Jr., who was third in the Big 12 in pressures at the DT spot, only behind, well, one other player in the Big 12, and then Lee Hunter, who was obviously first in pressures at the nose tackle defensive tackle spot in the Big 12 in 2024. Then you go add Skyler, Gill-Howard. You've got Braylon Rigsby, a guy that, again, much like Jayden Cofield, I was pretty excited about him as the starting defensive tackle, at least potentially, right? Instead, now he's the third line of defense for you. Unreal. And then on the other side, you have Romello, who I've seen some people skeptical of him. I don't get it. When he goes, he's got a motor, right? And he is one of those freaky athletes on the outside. Just go watch the Miami game for Georgia Tech last year, where he took over at times against Cam Ward in a really, really good Miami offensive line. Then you've got Cole Spencer, who, much like Joesph Adedire, is coming off of an injury. We'll see where that is, but I think Cole Spencer is more in line to potentially make a bigger impact on the edge side in terms of getting there early on. And then you've got Isaac Smith and Terrell Tilmon, who had a phenomenal game against West Virginia, where the Texas Tech Red Raiders absolutely obliterated the West Virginia Mountaineers, the last game of the regular season out there in the 806, and what was inevitably Neil Brown's last game as head coach of the Mountaineers. Again, those asterisks there are for injured guys, but this doesn't even include guys like Crawford, Anderson, O'Feely, Smith, Nadori. Like, it doesn't even include some of those highly touted young guys, because we're talking about them being, you know, fourth or fifth on the depth chart at best. Obviously, they can, you know, just go off in spring and fall camp and, you know, leapfrog a couple of guys on the depth chart. But in terms of way of thinking, I think this is where we're at. And you see my sentiment down there at the bottom of the screen. This, in my opinion, is easily the deepest group of Texas Tech has ever had on the defensive line. I mean, there's legit 10, 12 guys you feel comfortable with getting game reps like getting game snaps and going out there and saying like, sure, Lee Hunter is better than Jayden Cofield, but Jayden Cofield's pretty good too, right? Like if he needs a breather, at least Lee Hunter, right? Like it's unreal the depth that Texas Tech has accumulated in the transfer portal. And I kind of want to go look at it from a transfer portal lens in terms of overall. So you can see it on your screen right here. We're over on 247 Sports. Texas Tech has the #1 overall portal class with the addition of David Bailey, right? You look at that, 12 4-stars. According to 247. We'll look at On3 here in a minute. They have 11. So either way you want to go, it doesn't matter. Texas Tech has added double-digit blue-chip players. Blue-chip players are those that are 4 stars or higher, okay? That is an unreal portal haul, something that we've legitimately never seen before in terms of some of these, obviously the portal's a little early on, right? But we've never seen this kind of thing before. And Texas Tech was aggressive financially, obviously, in the portal, but also they had plenty of space for these guys to come in and play high-level snaps and be marquee players in a really solid Big 12 conference, right? So you look at this. Now we're going to transition on over to the actual class itself as I pause this weird ad on your screen. But you have David Bailey, right? The aforementioned David Bailey. Then you got Romello Height, Lee Hunter. You've got Skyler Gill-Howard, okay? Those first 3 guys up there will be starters for you, and they are all blue-chip guys. I mean, David Bailey, according to On3, who we will look at here in just a second, is the #3 overall player in this portal class. And you landed him on April 4th. Also, shout out to the wife. That was her birthday. Can I get some HBDs down in the chat for Miss Maxfield, please? Shout out to her. She's a real one for letting me just yap on these videos all the time. I got sidetracked there. Love my wife. Had to shout her out. Okay, so there we go. We look at the 247 ranks, right? But then let's transition on over to On3. Okay, you see it on your screen right there. Texas Tech, once again, has the best portal class. Look at the index score, people. 87. The next closest is Ole Miss at 68. That is an unreal difference by Texas Tech, okay? They easily have the best portal class according to On3. But we transition on over to the players because, damn it, that's what ends up winning the games, right? As I mentioned, On3 has David Bailey, the newest Red Raider, as the #3 overall player in this portal cycle and the #1 edge in this portal cycle, okay? You just got a guy, and in my opinion, that truly is it wouldn't shock me if he goes in the first round of the NFL draft next year. I think he is easily the best edge Texas Tech has had since Tyree Wilson. And if you want to go to the aspect of, the last 15, maybe even 20 years, he's the second best. And he has the potential to get to that Tyree type level. I know that that is a crazy thing to say, but at the same time, go watch the film. This guy is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to going off the edge. Now, again, does he need to improve in run blocking? Sure. Run defense? Absolutely. Like, he needs to improve in that. But when it comes to getting to the quarterback and QB pressures and impacting the game in that way, there's not very many, if any, better in college football than David Bailey. He's that good. So as I get back on your screen here, again, the biggest thing for me is this. Whether you look at 247, whether you look at On3, the Red Raiders went out and added across the board double-digit blue-chip players. Again, players that are 4 stars or higher, okay? 4 of them, and even 5 if you want to look on certain sites, are on the defensive line. You've got Lee Hunter, arguably the best defensive tackle in the Big 12. Actually, I don't think that's a debate. He is the best defensive tackle in the Big 12. You've got Anthony Holmes Jr., a guy that was 3rd, as I mentioned, in pressures at the nose tackle spot, defensive tackle spot in the Big 12 last year, only behind, Lee Hunter at 1, and then obviously another player at 2. Then you've got Skyler Gill-Howard, okay, a guy that was easily the best defensive player in their game against Notre Dame for the Northern Illinois Huskies, where the Northern Illinois Huskies handed the Fighting Irish their only loss in the regular season, okay? Then you go out and you add a guy in Romello Height who is just a freak on the outside. And I say that with the utmost respect. He's just freaky on the outside, okay? And you look and you see, okay, you had a couple of really nice pieces that you liked on the defensive line returning, right? Some of them hadn't lived up to expectations, whether that's due to injuries or just flat out just not living up to expectations on the field. But you like them in terms of the projectability and some of these younger guys that were higher pedigree targets in terms of, hey, you got the Isaiah Crawfords of the world, you've got the Ophelies of the world, right? Like you've got multiple guys that you feel good about in terms of the young aspect of it that maybe would project and be, contributors in some capacity on the defensive line. Now, with how hyper aggressive you were from not only a financial aspect of it, but pinpointing guys that you wanted to go out and think, okay, these are true difference makers. Because let's face it, Texas Tech probably felt good enough in terms of what they had before David Bailey, but they were hyper aggressive and realized David Bailey is one of those guys where you don't think twice about it. You go after him and you're hyper aggressive financially and also with the pitch in terms of, hey, man, you're going to come in and you are going to be that guy on the edge for us. Okay? That's what they did. And now you arguably, I don't even think it's arguably, you have the best defensive line in the Big 12. You have legitimately 11, 12 guys you feel good about getting game reps and game snaps. Right? Like, that's ridiculous. This is easily the most talented group of defensive linemen and just the front four for Texas Tech they've ever had in program history. Now, I know what y'all are saying. Before we get out of here, let me say this. Just because you're talented doesn't mean that you're going to get results, right? Texas Tech's going to have to go out and show it. That being said, it's hard-pressed for me to believe that this unit isn't going to come out there and absolutely dominate these offensive lines in the Big 12. I am excited more so than any other position group on this Texas Tech roster that has been overhauled, whether it's the secondary, offensive line, whatever it may be. I am more excited to watch the defensive line, so the edges, the D tackles, the nose tackles, than any other group of players on this Texas Tech roster, because I think you're going to go from having maybe a do I say C minus D plus type unit last year to literally an A. Like, it is going to be the biggest shift maybe we've seen on a defensive front in the Big 12 in the last 10 years. They're that good. And David Bailey is an absolute bona fide superstar. Lee Hunter, bona fide superstar. You got Romello Height, who is one of the best edges in the ACC last year. You've got Anthony Holmes Jr., Skyler Gill-Howard. The list goes on, right? And now it's all about put up or shut up. But you've got an absolutely insane group of guys there on the defensive line. And oh, by the way, got one of the best DCs in the Big 12, let alone the Big 12, the country at this point in Shield Wood. If you can't tell, I'm pretty damn excited about this group. I know you are too. And if you want 100% free content surrounding Texas Tech football, and trust me, we'll have plenty of it here on the channel. And not just football, men's basketball as well. This is the place for you. Almost 12,000 Red Raiders strong. And the best part about it, it's 100% free. So if you want to join the Back to 12 squad today, all you got to do is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.